Hi guys, this is Jayma Malmy, and I wanted to quickly show you the different 3D flowers that are on Close to My Heart's 3 Cricut cartridges. And this is what they look like when you first cut them out. And in the handbook, it looks like this. This is Art Philosophy, the Art Philosophy cartridge, and this has 6 3D flowers. So there's these 2 here, and this one looks like this when it's all finished. And this one here is my very favorite. It looks like this. It's a nice rose. And then also, all of these are the same flower as well, just cut at different sizes. So this is a little itty bitty one. It's cut somewhere between these 2 sizes. I think it was cut at about 2 inches. So it's just this little itty bitty rose when it's finished. And then this one was cut at about 5 inches, or maybe 5.5 inches. This one is cut at 7.25 inches. And I actually put a magnet on the back of this. So this is a fridge magnet, and it's cut out of book paper, as is this one. And I actually make wedding bouquets out of these too. There's a video on that if you wanted to learn how to make a wedding bouquet out of these, but there's so many different uses for them. And this is that same rose as well, only I curled down all of the edges. So basically on each petal, I took my my piercing tool here, and I just went like this along every single one. So if you have a ton of flowers to do, that's going to take a long time, but it has a nice finished look to it. Okay, the next page in the handbook is the spiky flower, and that looks like this. This is fun to do at Christmas time in green colors, and then you can put them on one of those cone-shaped styrofoam things and make a Christmas tree out of it, and this looks like the pine needles. I have a friend who did that, and it looks really awesome. And then there's this flower, which is right here, and I'm going to show you what that looks like once I finish rolling it up for you. And then there's this wavy one here, which looks like this once it's rolled up. And then there's this one that doesn't have any, it's just a straight curl, and that looks like this. Now some of these papers that I used have a white core, so that's what it looks like with the white core. You can either ink the edges, or you can use a paper that does not have the white core, so you only see the color on the top. So let me show you really quickly how to roll the flowers. I like to use the piercing tool. Close to My Heart also has a quilling tool, which has a shorter end, and it's not pokey like this, because this can be kind of dangerous, especially if you're rolling flowers on the couch like I do sometimes. But I really like that it has the long tip, whereas the quilling tool is a little bit shorter, a little bit fatter, which doesn't matter as long as it's still skinny. You don't want to use like a pen tip, or you know, you want to use something fairly skinny, because as you'll see, once you start wrapping it, and then at the end when you unravel, it gets a lot looser. So I'm just going to start by wrapping it tightly around my piercing tool, and I have already inked all the edges of this flower. You can see I matched the sky blue ink to the sky colored cardstock that I used. Now I'm right-handed, so I like to start with my tail on this is my right side. If you're left-handed, you may want to try it the other way, but this is just what works for me. So I just get it going and see how it's nice and tight, and once it's got enough that I can grab onto, I just keep rolling. And this, I forgot to mention, is cut at 6 inches. So you'll see what a 6-inch flower will look like once it's rolled up. the size that you put in your Cricut is the spiral size, not the finished flower size. Okay, so once you get to the base, I like to hold it like that and then just let it go and let it kind of loosen up on its own. And that's why you want the really tight center, because it is going to loosen up and you don't want it to be too loose. You still want a nice tight bud. So kind of futz with it and play with it until you like where the petals are all lining up. I like this. So I'm just going to stick my finger in and pinch it all. So I've got all of everything pinched in my fingers there. And then I'm holding the base back with these two fingers. This is what I find to be the easiest. Hold the base back like that, so you've got all of the spirals underneath exposed. Now you can use several different glues to hold it in place. I like hot glue. I like that it dries really fast, and so there's no like holding the flower in place while you wait for it to dry. You just set it down in the base and it's good to go in just a couple seconds. So set it down right in the middle of the base. You've got a couple seconds to kind of wiggle it around so you like the spacing, and then you're done. So that is your 6-inch flower. And these other ones that I did, that I showed you, all of these were cut at 4 3/4. So this is what the 4 3/4 flower looks like for each of these. Alright, and now we're going to move on to the Artiste cartridge. The Artiste cartridge is the Close to My Heart cartridge that came out last year. It was Close to My Heart's second cartridge. And it has 4 flowers on it, which are also all great. So I'll show you what they look like in the handbook. They're all right here on one key. So first I'm going to show you this one here, where there's a lot of little waves. That's what this looks like. Very pretty. And then this one is, let's see, the short spikes are this one here, and again cut at 4 3/4 inches. Almost looks like a lily. This one, I have a tiny sample. This is another one of my favorites. This is what it looks like rolled up. And this paper that I use is a 2-sided paper. So that's what it looks like when you've got the 2-tone paper. And this flower rolls up to be this size. So you kind of can see you want to cut the flowers quite a bit larger than you want your finished flower to be. And then this flower here is the last one that we've got here. That's what that one looks when it's all finished. Okay, and so next we're going to move on to the brand new Artbooking cartridge. That is this cartridge, Close to My Heart's 3rd cartridge, and it just came out August 1st. And this is what the flower looks like. The one difference between this flower and, say, the Art Philosophy flowers is, see, the centers of these flowers have kind of a big base, and this one does not. So it's a little bit trickier to roll up because you don't have as much surface area to glue your flower down onto a base. But it is still a nice looking flower, and this is what a couple of those flowers look like. And as you can see, I actually just cut out a little circle and glued the flower right onto the circle so that I would have a better base for it to grab onto. Whereas these ones, it's just the base that it comes with right on there. So this is the flower from Artbooking. There's only one flower on Artbooking because there's so many other great things on that cartridge, and Close to My Heart already has so many wonderful flowers. So here are all of the fabulous flowers from Close to My Heart's cartridges, and if you have any questions on how to put the flowers together, just let me know and I would be happy to help you. Thanks a lot.